What's good, Brandon?
What's good? What's good? What's good?
Already back in the vibes, working. Yeah, at level 1 fitness.
Yes, ma'am.
Feel like chopping it up today, so it is what it is. So, it's been a minute since we actually sat down and talked.
Been a minute. Been a long time. On camera, that is. What's been new? You know, hot weather.
Disrespectful hot
weather. You know, disrespectful hot weather.
Indeed.
Same work. You know, still busy. You know, just like any young adult. You know, trying to navigate the matrix, navigate this. You know, navigate this playing field the best way we can. You know, making mistakes, getting better. You know.
So biggest thing in the last 3 months, right? What is something that you would change, or what is something that you have changed that you see the difference in now, right? Or something that you would like to change to see the difference or perspective difference in the next 3 months.
Okay.
As far as business-wise, reflection of your life, of course, but in a sense, it always slightly affects your business in some way, shape, or form. So ideally, yeah.
Getting more verbal with my content. I think over the past 3 months, I've been trying to get better at putting more text on screen, doing like voiceovers, actually giving more personality to the videos. I think working out with music is cool, but I think people rather enjoy when I'm actually discussing what I'm doing or just being more of me as a trainer, but just in a digital form versus like just, you know, because those videos, right. Okay. So I guess like those videos over the past 2 months.
Forced?
No, not at all. No? I just haven't, I'm just, when it comes to that content, I make a lot of content, but you know, when you get into that influencer kind of space, it just feels kind of like a little weird for me because I feel like I'm kind of blending in. But I think when I did it and when I was doing my first voiceover, it kind of just felt natural. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I probably stopped recording stuff. I probably did it about, like the takes I took to get it done. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it took a while?
Yeah, I mean, normally I'm a one-take Jake. Like once I figured out what I want to say, because I was trying to figure out how to do a voiceover. I never did one before. So like before, like I guess going back a few months to where I am now, at first I was getting better with just, because my whole slogan is like champ talk. I've been doing that a lot lately. So
yeah, shout outs to that.
Right, so pretty much champ talk. I don't really know what I want to do with it yet, but for the most part, I want it to just be either an expression of like some type of truth, whether that's in words or a quote, or just me giving advice on training or tips and stuff like that. But champ talk is just being a champion, being revered, being steadfast, and in that, trying to give something back to whether that's someone who's watching the video or whether I'm talking to a video, but really talking to myself. But just an expression of who I am just in words, if that makes sense. So doing that, I think has allowed me to be in a different, you know, headspace and a different, you know, grind, because I feel like I'm more excited to do it. And I've been getting a lot of feedback. And it's been a really good marketing tool as well, because a lot of times people see what I do on Instagram, people see the training that I do, but sometimes it may come off a little overwhelming sometimes. So when I break stuff down or when I make it more relatable to whoever's watching the video, I think that has gotten a really big response. So I think going forward, you know, I'm going to be a lot more hands-on with the content, but also just being a lot more creative with it. So instead of just, you know, a workout and then find a song that's trending, all right, post, actually like slow down and say, you know what?
How can you make this a little bit more relatable?
Because I talk a lot during my sessions. Like I actually explain a lot of stuff, but it never gets recorded. It's like, it's kind of like, yeah. It's I kind of feel like Jesus.
You talk way more than I do, but I say it probably once or twice, and I will summarize it. Plus, I don't like the way that I talk. But nonetheless, doing that now and then actually having it, that's why I asked you if it was hard for you, because anybody that does it now that I've seen, that, especially the ones that I respect,
right?
It just seems so at ease, but then you don't see the stuff behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you just came out your face and basically told me like it took you so many times to just post that one, I hear it, and now it makes sense to me.
I'm talking like I'll talk for like 60 seconds, and then the whole thing, I got to scrap the whole thing because you can't, well, to my knowledge, when editing it, I couldn't break it up. The video was already made, but as I was talking through the video, I had to just take away the audio because it was just wrong. So I'll probably go through the whole thing, and then, you know, that's bad. And I retake to do the whole thing. I did that, like, it wasn't like a few seconds in. Okay, let me do that over again.
That's another reason why some of these content creators, they end up being full-time, because
it takes that.
Interesting.
Cause I was laying in bed and I was just like, you know what, let me try this, and I just did it. It took me about, I'm gonna say a good probably maybe 15 times. The first 8 was like, hey guys, your boy, nah.
Like that ain't even.
Hey, it's me. It was like, how do I make that just? And so I finally settled on, you know what? Hey guys, welcome back to you. And then I made it more normal. Instead of being like, it's your boy, it took about 8 to 10 times to figure that out. Then once I got that out the way, the intro out the way, it was more along the lines of, okay, figuring out transition words. So after that, then yeah, that was cool from there. But going forward, yeah, people are gonna see a lot more detailed content.
Let's go, Champ Talk. Okay.
Yeah, for sure, Champ Talk.
So back to the question. Besides the content portion of it, you know what I mean? What else have you changed or would like to change that you'd like to see a reflection in the future, or you've already seen the progress and reflection of it now?
Something I would like to change, I think maybe get back to maybe a little bit more vibrant. I think when I'm happy internally, I think that kind of echoes throughout everything I do. Because the other day I was in the gym, and this member came up to me. I forget his name, but he's been going here for a while. But he said, "Hey man, D man, like you used to come in here all chipper, man. Like why like lately you've been looking kind of, and off camera, you know stuff that I've dealt with. But it just brought me back to, man, like I was always big on no matter what energy. I'm going through, energy. You know what I'm saying, and not letting that reflect. So I think
in retrospect to that, because I know where you're going with this, but in a sense, it's just like, okay, folks also have to be realistic.
Oh no, I'm sorry, hold on, cut you off. That's what I told him. He said, "Hey man, why you don't?" He said, "Why don't you smile as much?" He said, "What happened?" I said, "Life." And he was like, "Oh man, like life happens to everybody, man. So you gotta." But I didn't go back and forth with him because I was in the middle of a client. But I understood where he was trying to go. But then but pick up to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
it's part of the job to also just differentiate ourselves from some of the ones that are just doing it for the money. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
clearly,
right.
You can tell enthusiasm and stuff like that, how we come in, how we approach. This is the reason why we have the certain type of products that we have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but they get so used to that.
Facts. Yeah, we set a standard.
Exactly.
We made it look easy. So now it's like, dang. So now, yeah, I mean, we just made
you off, then all of a sudden
off.
it's just like, oh shit.
Right.
Wait.
But then again, but that does also speak to our greatness too, because a lot of times people are kind of like average or people are normal. So whenever they're off, it's like, oh, I mean, it's just another day. Just another day for them. But whenever we set a standard of always being a certain way, always committing to excellence, always having a vibrant, always being personable, whenever we're off, it's noticed. But whenever somebody's doing it, or like whenever somebody's gimmicky, whenever somebody's not really passionate about something, if they're off, I mean, you wouldn't know they're off because there's no fluctuation. They're just always monotone. It's always monochrome. It's always black and white. But whenever there's like a high of energy and then it's all of a sudden down here, and then back up here, then you can kind of see like, oh well, man, I think that person's going through something, or there's something off. But definitely, I think going forward, I mean, well, that's something I like to see in myself as far as like somebody to change. I think getting back to being more vibrant. I mean, pretty much somebody watching this video probably gonna think, nah, I didn't notice he wasn't like that. But internally, that you can be a little bit more. Somebody can see this and say, oh, I don't think he's like not vibrant. But there are moments where I feel like I probably can be more. Yeah, definitely.
All right, balance.
Work-life
balance. At this point, entrepreneur, right? Living in a growing city, okay? In the service industry where you have to give, the energy given isn't always the energy received. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, you still have to pour.
For sure.
Because it's a service-based industry. Balancing that with life. It's strenuous.
For sure.
It can be done. You know what I'm saying? The lifestyle ain't for everybody. But nonetheless, how has that been for you?
Balance. So for the most part, I am handling work life pretty well. I think for me, I've always been really good at having balance in my work, meaning I know how to balance my rest, my training, and things that kind of fall under that umbrella. But where I struggled is unplugging, because don't get me wrong, right? People always say, oh, like you have to be 100%, you have to be focused 100% whatever you're doing. But if you have different tasks or different obligations in your life, right? Yeah, if I'm 100% here and I have this going on over here, then okay, well, at least I got to divulge me at least 20% over here, right? If I have a 9-to-5 job on top of what I'm doing entrepreneurially, then I got to have 30% over here. So at the end of the day, no one's ever fully 100% unless you're in a situation where, that's all you do. Like you wake up every day and you're a gym owner, or you wake up every day and you're a teacher with no kids, no type of outside obligation. You just go to work. You live for lesson plans. You live for children. You live for summertime. Like that's all you do, right? But
that's kind of boring.
But in this day and age, and the thing about being an entrepreneur, man, no one, like there is no. Oh, I'm not gonna say there's no guide, but you know, a lot of things I'm learning on the fly. You know, there is
well,
a lot
hold
to learn
on.
on the fly.
There is no guide. Like
Right.
everybody's guide that's out now is really
Right.
just for sale. You know what
For
I'm
sure.
saying? It's
For sure.
perspective.
Right.
It's not necessarily Bible. You know what I mean? It may help somebody be able to find their own route, their own lane to be able to, you know what I'm saying? It would get, it's basically tips.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? By perspective.
Right.
But I don't necessarily say that that's blueprint, that's God. You know what I'm saying? If it worked for you, it worked for you. And I commend you. And I'll probably be able to learn certain things from you and stuff like that. But in the end, like, I'm just going to
it's tough. I mean, because just the balance part of it, it's like, okay, like, we're learning balance as we go, right?
Yeah.
Because being in this position of an entrepreneur, you're going to always accumulate more what I'm looking for, more tasks, more obligations. So you're going to have to work and find out what balance works for you. I mean, even right now, you know, if you look at a standpoint of, okay, well, how much sleep can I get before I crash?
Self-care.
Right, self-care, right? So can I operate off of 5 hours? Do I need 8 hours of sleep? Right. So still digging, it's kind of like prep. Like, yes, for the most part, sleep gonna be sleep. But trying to figure out where that drop off is to where I'm not efficient anymore.
Right.
In the next day, that's really been like.
I'm sorry, for me, 8 hours is too long.
Yeah, well,
I cannot.
Yeah, right, for sure. Because
as soon as I do, if I ever do, because I already have trouble sleeping, but when I do, if I push 8 hours,
right,
I wake up feeling sick as hell.
For sure.
And basically like, yo, what is wrong with me? Sinuses is flaring.
Right.
I'm grogged up. It's
body
crazy.
Just off. Yeah,
it's
body
all
just
the way off.
Right, for sure.
My threshold is definitely 5 to 6 hours.
Same here.
After that, I'm good. Now,
granted,
I probably only get 4, but that's probably why I, you know, got my Starbucks budget. But nonetheless, okay, all right. I mean, so again, blueprint. It's really more so of just the blueprints out there. It's really just more so of a
right, because I can for balance, I can tell you what I did for my balance. I can tell you I woke up in the morning and I read this book, or you know, I woke up in the morning and I went for this walk, or I did this. And yes, I mean, anyone can have like bullet points for how to have a work-life balance, but at the end of the day, each individual has to like take a step back in their life and look at things that may be taking too much time, things they're not giving enough time to. And shoot, you know, I'm 29 and I'm still trying to learn what things don't work for me and what things do work. And so I think now eventually, I think for the most part, I think everybody will get to a point where they can be on autopilot a little bit. But I think that's the thing about being great. You know, like the greater you get and the more things that you want to accomplish in your life, right? It's going to always be a revolving Rubik's Cube. Like you're never going to, like you'll probably solve it once, but then you might get some more squares, right? You'll solve it again and get some more squares. So you're always going to like, you know, try to figure out what works and what doesn't work. But there will be, now the good news is, right, in having a work-life balance is there's always going to be something finite, which is effort, right? So no matter how difficult things may get for you, no matter how many more responsibilities you may accumulate, however long you're living, right, your effort and what you give or what you choose to give to, that's always going to be a fixed point for you. So no matter how overwhelming it may get with balance, no matter how much you may think you're failing, that you're not, like the fact that you're trying, right, and the fact that you're trying to figure it out, I think that overall, that makes us us. And to be honest, I don't think we're supposed to be balanced. You know, I think we're supposed to probably be balanced internally. I think yin and yang. I think we're supposed to have certain things about us that make us whole. But I think falling, getting back up. I mean, to the outside person, somebody can say we're not balanced. But I think you need both. You know, so I think you need both. So I think being unbalanced is, you know, just like they say, being lost is similar to being found. You know, you can't really be lost if you're going somewhere you've never been before. Right. So I think, you know, balance, the whole balance thing, it is important, and it is a very, very strong
it's more
tactic. But it's more internal. I think as long as you're set here on the inside, and even that's a whole nother conversation too. Really that's a whole nother
internal battles.
Right. But if you can manage, if you can handle that on the inside, right? The internal war. I think the outside is going to just be the outside all the time. So yeah, definitely. Definitely. For sure.
Let them know where they can find you at.
You can find me Monday through Friday here at I'm just playing. My name is Brandon Malone, if you didn't catch it. My Instagram is Muscle Malone, no space, no underscores. That's Muscle. Then my last name, Malone. Email is in the bio. Right, I'm saying if they want to email. Email is in the bio. You can DM me for training, DM me for coaching. Other than that, in person, when I want to find me in person, because people come up here like, hey, man. Right, you can find me at my place of business here at Level 1 Fitness. I'm here most days, if not all days. But yeah, Yeah. That's really where I am.
And keep a lookout for Champ Talks.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Be on the lookout for Champ Talks. It will be a lot more in detailed information on workouts, advice, or just overall like the things that champions talk about. You know, in any aspect of what you may find interesting. So, for sure. Yeah. So we are out. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for telling. Thank you for talking to me, Coco. It's been a while since I've been on here. You know, it's been 10 years. She had everybody else on her channel.
A whole lot.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I've been here since day one. I ain't had an episode yet. But hey, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. Oh man.
That was good.
That was real good.